Good morning and welcome to Zen Fits. Beautiful day in Blackstone, Virginia on Thanksgiving, the center of the world. But then you too are the center of the world. But you know, on Thanksgiving, the home, maybe the family home, the parents' home, the home tree, really is the center of the world. And all the families have a center. They seem to have. They must have a center, usually. Hopefully they have a center, you know, where the family album is kept, where the grandparents are, where the senior is. You know, and so all the younger families that get extended out over like spokes, you know. Thanksgiving, the gravity of the family, of the center, pulls them back, you see. Pulls them back to the home tree, to reorientate themselves, to realign themselves with family and friends and childhood and memories and even healing. So the gravity of family pulls us back at least once a year, you know. With our house here, I mean, this is this old Victorian home that was built around 1903 is where my wife grew up in this house. And her family grew up in Blackstone. 13 kids. Families were big back then, you know. So all these but our immediate family, and then a few from the other extended, you know, other parts of this big family, are all kind of like coming here. And but even our family's got several younger families extended out there. Generation X, and then now we got younger ones. We don't have any babies now. All of the last babies are now little girls and little, you know, anyway. But anyway, they all come back here, like turkeys to roost. And and I think we're having 35 today. But they bring food, so it's not all, somebody's bringing a turkey. And the topic of this talk, my Zen Fit for the morning, which really, I was just, you know, I'm really getting into the groove of Zen Fits, you know, because it's becoming my practice. I meditate in the morning, I just do it, no matter where. If I go somewhere, if company's here, no matter what, no matter how late I stay up, I get up in the morning and I just do it. I just do it, you know, and I'll sit for an hour, some hour and a half. I just do it. Don't get anything out of it. I get a Zen Fit. So now my Zen Fits are becoming like that. I just want to do it. Don't know why, don't know how, don't get anything out of it, so to speak, except that I come home. It's kind of like in my meditation and in my Zen Fit, I come home. The world pulls us out, you see. The world takes our center. We're all the center. And it kind of like pulls us out like gum or like taffy. And it pulls us out and we feel this tension or separation in ourselves. This gap between me and other people and me and the world, you see, and me and myself. We feel this gap between the center. We lose the center. We get out on the rim. Like an expanding circle, and we get farther and farther out on the rim, looking back on us like we're from far away, like looking through a telescope. The binoculars reverse, you know, instead of looking close, it's further away. I get this gap, and that gap is painful. That gap is our suffering, says Buddha. You know, the gap between ourselves out on the rim, looking in at our lost center. Our lost paradise, you see. So people, you know, the lost paradise, what is this paradise, you see? So, it's in the past, I have to restore myself. Or it's in the future, I have to build myself. It's like that. But this past, this center, this me, this home, this you, if it's in the past or in the future, it's like, and it gets so far out, you see, and it's like a rubber band, boom. So at Thanksgiving, the family gets stretched out to California, Florida, New York, and then Thanksgiving. It's back. It's a joyous return. Everybody come hugging, laughing and hugging and oh, and so good to see you and all of that stuff, you know, how fast the year is gone and how was your trip? So much part of the early part of the conversation when families come back is all about the trip. How long did it take? Was there traffic? Did you have to wait in the air? Oh my God, you had to wait in the airport, and on and on and on. Anyway, after you get over that, you know, then you get into what's happened during the year and all that. After finally you've gorged yourself on what you did the last year, you watch football, take a nap. Anyway, I laugh. But are you the turkey? Well, let me get into this thing about the turkey. I do this every year. Thanksgiving is our great, uncommercialized, so far, Eucharist or communion. Now, I say Eucharist, and my sister-in-law always gets mad. It's not a Eucharist. She's Episcopalian, and there's only one Eucharist. But I use it metaphorically. The metaphor of the Eucharist is that there is a sacrificial animal or person who willingly gives himself up to be eaten, right? I mean, that's what the communion is. Jesus gave himself up and symbolically says, this is my bread, this is my body, my blood, eat it, and you'll become whole. You'll be healed, you see. So there's dismemberment, and then there's healing. But the animal, or in religion, Jesus, the person, must willingly be dismembered, must willingly go to the cross, must willingly say, here, draw and quarter me, you know, cut me up, eat me. And the ancient sacrificial human religions, human sacrifices, the body was eaten in Canada. That's what cannibalism was all about. The body is made sacred, and then it's eaten. Everybody runs home with a piece. So the turkey is a sacrificial animal, the American sacrificial animal. And the pig in Europe was the sacrificial animal. You know, in the medieval societies, when they have a big family, when they bring in a pig with an apple in its mouth, that's the sacrificial animal. And in the South, the saying goes, you eat the whole hog, even the squeal. You see, in the sacrificial animal, you eat it all. In the Eucharist, the priest eats anything that's left over. Any wafers, nobody ate that wafer, I mean, he eats that. Any wine, he gets to drink it. Nothing, the plate's clean. You wash the dishes. Plate's clean, no leftovers. Gods get angry if you don't eat all the sacrifice, if you save some for yourself, you see. But anyway, the turkey is that sacrificial animal in the American culture where the families come home and the bird is brought in. Oh, the turkey. One of my favorite sitcoms was Everybody Loves Raymond, when they had a tofu turkey. Anyway, so you got to kill that bird, and you know, and one bird gets saved, and the president gets to bless the turkey, and he's saved, you know. But anyway, the point is, the bird is the sacrificial bird that, no, of course, well, turkeys don't want to die, but you know, we're talking metaphorically here, we're talking mythologically here. The willing sacrifice, not the screaming, drag them to the altar, not, you know, the virgin throws herself into the volcano, she's not dragged up there and thrown in, but then sometimes. But if the sacrifice is real, if the sacrifice is true, somebody must give themselves up willingly for it, and that's why we honor Medal of Honor heroes, because they willingly sacrifice themselves. The fireman, he goes into the building. The 9/11 responders, willing sacrifices, you see. They didn't be dragged up in there. It was a willing sacrifice. Even the president, our office of the president is a willing sacrifice. When you're a personality with a lot of power, running around in a persona, everybody knows you, a person, and you become president, you willingly give up, you kill that person. You willingly kill that old personality, that power, that personal power. You give it up, and you take on the robe of the president, or king. Trump might say king. You take it on, then you give up your businesses, you give up your personal power. You give up all of that and take on the robes of the presidential power. You become the president. Yet at the same time, you know you're not the president because you gave up you. You gave up your ego. You gave up your, I'm so great, look at me now. So a true sacrifice, a true president, how did I get in on this? I don't know, all roads lead to Trump. A true president knows that it's not really me, my personality doing this. It's the office of the president. So there is a shift in consciousness that goes on in the sacrifice. That's why the sacrificial animal is a substitute for the personal sacrifice. It used to be in the ancient civilizations, the king was dismembered willingly. There were accounts where the king would actually do it himself. Now this is a whole different consciousness then. But in order for the world to be renewed, there has to be death. The dying and resurrected Son. Death must happen in order for a renewal. That's the way nature works. That's the way the planting seasons work. In the fall, the plants die. In the spring, it's renewed. Death, the moon, dying moon, rising moon. Boom, boom. This was the cycle of the world for the planting societies. So death and resurrection sacrificially, ritually participated in. Man had to participate in this dying and resurrection in order to be in alignment with nature and the universe and the gods. So the spring would come. So the moon would rise. So the dawn would come after the night. If you didn't participate in that ritually, the sun might not come back. The springs may, the wheat may not grow. You may have screwed up nature. So you better participate in the rituals that put us in alignment with the rhythms of nature. See, it's all about getting in alignment. You know, with your car, if you're out of alignment, you drift to the right or to the left, and you got to wobble. It takes effort. Oh, I got to keep pulling the car back on the road. I relax, off it goes. Got to pull it back. When you're in alignment, look, Ma, no hands. The car goes straight. I'm in alignment. It's very simple. So how do we get back in alignment with Thanksgiving? See, so Thanksgiving is kind of like a family alignment. We come back to the center, get back in alignment, heal the grievances. You know, I'm sorry this happened last year, you know. And so we eat, we share the sacrificial bird. We get satisfied. You can eat as much as you want on Thanksgiving. The hell with the diet. You see. So the Thanksgiving is the coming home and the renewal of the family. Because it's the family in which we find alignment with who we are, our family, our history, our place, you see. So for me, you know, what I always feel, I get kind of get zen-y, or I get Thanksgiving, I always do this anyway. But this whole idea of alignment, being out of alignment. And a lot of us, including myself, have felt out of alignment with family our whole life, you know. If we grow up, I grew up in an emotionally distant family, and my father was a military officer. He was always gone. So we just had just me and my mother and baby sister, and that was it. There was no extended family like here. My God, family is everywhere, particularly in the South, you see. So it's always a time for me for reflection, and I kind of feel like at Thanksgiving we should all feel like the turkey. We should all feel like I'm going to give myself to the family. I'm going to give myself and let my old self, my extended self, my personality that feels out of alignment, my personality that's kind of separated from everybody, including myself, my center, I've lost my center. I'm just going to kill that bird. I'm just going to kill that turkey and become part of the flock, you see, and come back and be part of the family, part of the human family, if you will. The local family is the human family. Your little flock of turkeys is all turkeys. So anyway, are you a turkey? Well, if you are, be a sacrificial turkey. Just kill all the old, just let all the, chop the head off all those grievances and resentments and built up angers and accusations and judgments and all of that stuff. Just chop it up and eat it. Thanks for dropping in. Happy Thanksgiving.